Hey, Alma's recipe here again. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you guys how to make tamales, pork tamales. I made last 1 week about chicken. This is gonna be pork. That's what I said again. Christmas is coming. If you want to try to make how to make tamales, you can use kind of the same dough, but you can make a lot of different fillings. But I'm just walking you through this one, which is pork tamales and salsa roja. Vamos a empezar. You need 5 pounds of pork, half an onion, 5 garlics, 1 tablespoon of salt, 2.5 liters of water or 10 cups of water, 3 tomatoes or 1 pound, 10 chiles California, quarter an onion, 2 garlics, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of salt. 6 cup of corn flour, 1 packet of corn husks, 1 cup of lard, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 tablespoon of salt. Last, you're going to need a tamale steamer. I'm gonna preheat my water before I add my meat. Probably takes maybe like 10-15 minutes, so I should be back in 10 minutes. Alright guys, so my water has been boiling for 10 minutes. As you can see, it's really hot. Now it's time to add the meat, and I have the meat right here. Just be careful, don't burn yourself. And my meat is just little bunch, it's easy when we're gonna peel the tamales. I'm gonna prepare my pot for boiling the chile, so I'm just gonna put it in half a bowl with water. You can use your jasmine. This one doesn't have to be measured. You need water to cover the tomatoes and the chile, so we can let it boil a little bit. I'm gonna be preparing my chile, so if you have a scissors, it'll be easy for you. Just cut the top, so we can take the seeds, then open it up and clean all the seeds. If you have most all the chiles will have seeds. But also when I start boil, if you don't take every single one, when they start cooking, all the seeds will come out. So we're gonna do the same thing with every single one. Cut the top, and then we cut here, and then just open it and cut this thing. This is Chiles California, but also it has Chile Guajillo, other kind. But Chile California is not so spicy, and I don't like to make my tamales very spicy because my girls don't eat it. The Chile Guajillo is more spicy for sure. This one is less. Now that I have my water already warm, as you can see, it has a lot of bubbles, so that's warm already. So I'm gonna add my tomatoes, and I'm gonna cook my tomatoes first because it's gonna take a little longer. So I'm gonna cook it for like 5 or 6 minutes before I add my chiles. So I'm gonna be working and preparing my corn husks. So what I'm gonna need to put hot water, warm water in a bucket. So I fill my bucket with almost full with water. What I'm gonna need is to soak my corn husks. As you can see right now, they're really like hard, so we wanted to make it soft. So make sure you always use like a warm water. It doesn't have to be, but it's better, it works better. And soak for minimum or maybe 20 minutes minimum. If you can add it a little longer, it'll be fine. So we're just gonna leave it right over there, so when we start to doing the tamales, they'll be ready. My tomatoes been already here like for 5 minutes. As you can see, this one already kind of open it up. So this one doesn't really take a long time. In the meantime, my meat is cooking. I'm just gonna put it in here and leave it maybe for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we can turn it out. So we'll be back in 3 minutes. So my chile has been here for like 3 minutes. As you can see, they kind of start making soft like that. So they still quite not full, but with the heat they gonna be ready. So I'm just gonna turn it up. In the meantime, my meat is ready. I'm gonna just let it soak over there for a little bit. It'll be perfect. As you can see, my chiles are already ready. They change in consistency. So I'm just gonna turn it up to this point and then let it wait over there to cool down a little bit. So my meat has been cooking for 40 minutes since the time I put it in. So as you can see, this is how it looks. So we're gonna turn it up and let it cool down for a little bit because we are going to use our broth for preparing our dough. So definitely we don't need the very hot. So we're gonna let it just cooling down. In the meantime, we can prepare our salsa. So we're gonna be working to prepare our salsas. So I'm gonna put all my chiles in my blender here. My blender is quite big, so it fits everything, but if your blender is not as big, you can do it in 2 parts. So I'm gonna add my onions, quarter onions, and I'm gonna put it there, and I'm gonna add my 2 garlics, 1 teaspoon of cumin. This is already ground. So there is my teaspoon, and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. I am going to add my tomatoes. So I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna remove this part. I'm not gonna use in that part. And I'm gonna do the same thing with every single one. cut it and leave that part out. 1 cup of broth, but I'm only adding half of it because I don't want that my broth really watery. But I definitely need something for my blender so my blender will not be too heavy. And if it is too heavy, you can just add a little bit more broth. So let's see how this one works. That'll be all for my salsa. Okay, so I have my pork over here. I cut it like in small pieces. It's not too big. You don't need to make it like really small. So this is what I have here. But also I have a little bit in here just in case you have children and you don't want to make it with chili. Even this one is not very spicy, but it could be. So you can just say this one just to make up without salsa. Not as big. I mean, this one should be plenty. And I have my meat already here. Like, look, it's not completely small, but not completely, not really big. So what I'm gonna do to this point, because I'm still gonna be cooking my tamales for 1 hour and a half. It's not well done, but it's good enough. So I have my salsa here. As you see, I only have half a cup broth, the same broth that I cooked the meat. So I'm just gonna put my chili in here. So when I make my tamales, the chili and the meat, they'll be together. Move the meat so I can incorporate the meat and the chili together. And I'm gonna just leave it. This one is ready, so we're gonna move in to prepare my dough. And I'm gonna need 6 cups of flour, corn flour. So this is 1, 2, and 6. So I'm gonna be using 8 cups of broth. So first I'm gonna just put 6 cups of broth. 1, 2. So I'm gonna start mixing my dough. And with 6 cups of flour, it's kind of like really hard still. It's kind of like the consistency we'll have with 6. So we can like to make tortillas, but we want it to a lot more sticky. So as you can see, when I'm working it, it's still not like really like watery. And we need the bread like a little warm, not too hot, but not too cold. So definitely we need maybe in the 90s temperature, 90 degrees. But we don't want it like super hot, but not cold. So we are going to need 1 tablespoon of salsa, and I'm gonna add it to my broth right there. And then I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 tablespoon. So I'm gonna add it there. So I'm just gonna stir this thing up. So, and this is the broth too for the meat. So this one be my 7 cup. And I'm gonna just add it there. And that'll be my 8 cup of broth. So I'm just gonna stir all together. So we still need to add the manteca, the lard. So we're gonna move and prepare our large. So I have 1 cup of lard over here, so that's what I'm gonna be needing. So I'm gonna be probably beating up for maybe like 5 or 3 minutes. So this is how it looks down. So I'm gonna just start beating up. So I was just gonna mention something. I just make a chicken tamales, and in my chicken tamales I use butter. For those one, they do not eat pork, I do not eat lard. So you can do the same thing with the dough. The process is the same thing. You just change for be butter to lard. So that's kind of similar. Original tamales, they make it with lard. And after we're done, we have the thing over here. We're gonna blend it together for another 5 minutes. And this is to get like a good consistency in the dough. They become really fluffy. As you can see that the dough is very sticky, like and that's what we want, so they can stick in the husk really easy. So it's done. It's ready to start making the tamales. Now that I have my dough ready, we just let it sit down for like maybe 20 minutes just to rest for a little bit, and then it should be ready to make the tamales. So I'm gonna start preparing my husks, and I'm gonna always wanna work with the big ones, so this one already really soft. So this kind of quantity of dough will make you like 30 to 35 tamales. Always work with the big ones. Because some of the big and some of the small ones. This is really big. Probably cut it a little bit because it is really big. I think this one is probably really big, so I can just cut it. It'd be no problem. These ones, they have inside and outside, so the outside is rough and the inside is soft. You're gonna put the dough in the soft part, which is at the inside, and we're just gonna do this. And you don't need to put all the way in top, because when we fold it, we really don't need that part. The dough is really easy to work. The consistency is perfect. So after we have just our dough like that, we're just gonna remove this one in the side. 2 spoons of dough and just spread it. Okay, so and when you're trying to not put too many, because it gets the dough will get stick in the other part. So after you have your husk prepared, I have some over here on my chili. You can put as much as you want or as little you want. So I'm gonna just put 2 pieces of meat here, and that should be plenty, and a little bit of salsa, and I'm just gonna fold it like that, squeeze it here, and then put it in there. So that'll be one tamale be ready. I'll make another one for you so you can see. So I'm gonna put, all depends how big your chunks of meat it is. So this one I'm gonna put maybe 3 pieces or 4. 3 be plenty. So I'm just gonna close it and close it this way and squeeze it in here and squeeze this here. And you always wanna put your tamale that way. But I also told you if you don't wanna make it with no salsa, if you have any children's, the same thing, you can just put meat and then the same thing, close them, squeeze it here. And another trick that you know, because you want to know which kinds they are, if you mark it with one of these and tie it up, that will tell you that it's a different kind of tamal. So this one will not have any salsa. So in the meantime, I'm gonna just keep moving, finish with my dough until I'm done. So I'm done preparing my tamales. Now we come to the point that we are going to cook our tamales. So you're going to need one of these things, and this one it has like a little line. So we wanted to fill with the water all the way here. So I had 2 liters of water here. Hopefully that will be enough. Just probably need just a little bit more, and it'd be better if you put hot water so it'll be easy when they start cooking. We're just gonna leave it to the line. We don't want to put more than that. After that, you can add this one. And this is very important to cook the tamales because we can steam it. So what we need to do is just put our tamales. These tamales are quite big. So I make like 30 tamales, but they're quite big. So you can make like 35 or maybe more. So we always wanted to put our tamales like that and fix it all together, so that way they can all fit. And this is how we're going to do it all the way through. I remember this mark means that it's with no chile, and if you don't have enough big pot, you can always do a second round if they don't fit you. And I'm making you the pork tamales. Remember that tamales, you can put the filling anything you want or you have, maybe chick or pork or even like frijoles. Some people make it out of frijoles. So whatever you're playing around, soon as you have your dough, you can make pretty much about anything. Also, you can get this pot in Target. So also we always wanted to have a little bit extra this one, so I might put a little bit too much, but it's okay. So, and what we're going to do, we wanted to cover, so when they boil, we save our heat, because we cannot So this is done. So what I'm gonna do is just gonna put this one here, make sure it's closed well. So we're gonna just put it to cook. Alright, my tamales been cooking for 1 hour and a half, so to this point they should be done. I am going to take the hash that on top and I'm gonna let it cool down, because my tamales right now, when you cook tamales, you need to let them cool down a little bit before you start taking out of the pot, because they look like they're not cooked, but they actually they cook. So definitely if you look over here, they're already done, but we do need them to let it cool down before. So to this point I just turn it off. Maybe let it cool down maybe 20 minutes or half an hour until you be able to take them all off and they be good consistent. So I'll show you in a minute, see how they look. So I have one tamal already here that's already cooled down. The way you know it is done after it's cooled down, if the husk come out really easy with not sticking in the husk, that means it's ready. And this one, it looks pretty good. So that's one of my tamal after it's been cooling down. I also have another one here where it has a mark that says this is a little different too. I can just open it up and I can show you how this one looks. Sounds really easy out of the husk, so that means it's already cooked. Alright, so that's it for this video. This recipe makes between 30 to 35 tamales, and these ones are mild, they're not very spicy. If you wanted to try, let me know what you think, and hopefully you enjoy this second recipe about tamales. Merry Christmas. Hasta la vista.